Guys, welcome to the Just Posted podcast. I'm your host, Karissa Larsh, and I'm so excited to do this first episode. I've been wanting to do this podcast for a while, and I just haven't gotten to the point of knowing exactly what I want to do with it. But I finally figured it out, and I'm so excited for episode 1. So today we're going to be going into certain characteristics and traits of marketing that you can apply to yourself in order to establish your personal brand and grow as a person and just establish your sense of self-worth and create value within yourself. So I'm very, very excited. A little bit about me is that I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. I graduated with a bachelor's degree of marketing from FIU, and I'm currently doing my master's degree in marketing at FIU, and I'm about to graduate at the end of June, so I'm very excited for that. And yeah, I just wanted to start this podcast, and I feel like it's a really good idea for me to do. As the title, Just Posted, because I always, struggled with hesitating to post a lot of things because I just didn't establish my sense of self-worth and self-value before. I had a sense, but it wasn't what it is now. So I'm very excited to start this podcast and to share my knowledge of marketing as well as, personal growth with you guys, using some personal examples as well as marketing examples. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I have some certain points that I wanted to get across in this first episode. So here are some characteristics and traits that we, learn from marketing, but also establishing it and using it to grow personally and establish just your sense of self, to be more self-aware and also just become the best version of yourself that you can be. So first and foremost, the number one thing that a lot of people struggle with is discipline, having a sense of discipline and just really sticking to something that you put your mind to is very hard for a lot of people. And the one thing that is key in self-growth and just having a sense of value is discipline. People that have discipline and that put maximum effort into whatever they do, it shows in the results. What is that quote that's like, the proof is in the pudding? That's the quote that I'm thinking of. The proof, maybe it's not that quote, I have no idea, I don't know. But the results show when you have discipline and you actually take effort into what you put your mind to, and you take the steps without taking shortcuts and you actually put in the hard work, the results will show effortlessly. Trust me. An example of this would kind of be a bit of a personal example. My fitness journey that I've kind of been on for a year and a half now, putting in the results and not taking shortcuts and actually taking time to work out 5 days a week and to really get a grip on a sense of a work ethic and as well as a workout routine, really put discipline into a perspective that I haven't seen before. It just gave me a sense of okay, if I can work hard and do this and actually see results that I want to see, imagine if I put just the same amount of effort into myself and the same amount of effort into my career and my goals. Having discipline, once you master that and you actually build trust within yourself in order to do the effort of things that you want to do, the results will show it, and you'll be way more satisfied when you actually follow through with yourself, because this gives yourself a sense of trust. You're like, okay, I did this and this and I can trust myself to do it, and it shows the results because you prove to yourself that you could actually do it. And this is what starts kind of the process of realizing all of that. So having discipline within yourself is obviously a key factor. Another point that I wanted to touch on is learning and educating yourself in everything that you do, especially your passion and your career. Once you become educated on a certain topic or certain things that you're passionate about that not a lot of people know about, you have this sense of confidence, because guess what? You're educated. You could walk into a conversation and talk for hours and hours on something, and you have proof behind it because you took the time to learn and you took the time to educate yourself on the topic. There's been so many times that I used to be in conversations that were a little bit more high level, I guess. I don't even really know how to put that, but there's been multiple times that I've been in conversations where I have no idea what I'm talking about. I have no idea what other people are talking about, and then I just end up sounding so stupid. And you beat yourself up about it sometimes, especially if it's a conversation in something that you're passionate about or something in your career, especially in the business world. There's a lot of difficult conversations that I just don't have input on because I don't know a lot about it. So taking time to educate yourself, whether it's listening to a podcast, reading up on something that you wanted to learn about, or just, you know, Googling things, I guess, or looking into things and really educating yourself on it gives you a whole entire new perspective, and you just absorb so much that you can throw into any conversation, and you won't be discredited when you actually educate yourself. And it's not like educating yourself like on TikTok, like, oh, I saw this TikTok, like actually learning things that you want to learn just gives you a competitive edge when you walk into a room and you know exactly what you're talking about. Having data to back up, you know, your points and your evidence and your analysis, like, it helps you get competitive edge in any situation that you get put in, especially in the business world. You have to know exactly what you're talking about. You have to have proof of exactly what you're talking about. And you have to have, you know, the knowledge and the confidence to know what you're talking about as well. You don't want to look stupid in front of a group of people that you want to impress, of course, and that you want to be a part of. So educating yourself is a big factor in just being your best self and growing into yourself, career-wise and everything else-wise. What also ties into that is, yeah, you can know everything in the world and be the smartest person alive, but you have to be presentable with it as well. And this by presentable, I mean taking time into your physical appearance and taking time in how you dress. So, I mean, nobody wants to hang out with somebody that like rolls out of bed and then they just go about their day looking like they rolled out of bed. Like, no, like you have to be presentable with yourself. Dressing professional, dressing with items of quality, like having quality within yourself, you have to show it on the outside. When I wake up and let's say I have to go to the grocery store real quick, I don't put on any makeup, I literally am in pajamas, like sweatpants, slippers, and like a hoodie, I feel horrible because I'm out in public and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look horrible right now. Like, I hope I don't see anybody that I know. And then you end up seeing people that you know and you're like, ugh. So always even if you have to wake up a little bit earlier, taking time into how you dress, taking time into how you look, because you never know who you're gonna run into at any time of the day. You just really never know. Like, taking time, do a little bit of makeup, you know, buy nice clothes, make sure you have clothes of quality in your closet that are dressed to impress, especially if, you know, when you go into work and you want to impress certain people. As humans, people like people who are attractive. So an example of this would be kind of like marketing for brands that, you know, they want to set themselves apart from, you know, the common other brands. So like luxury, like designer companies set themselves apart from other things because the item that they sell are made of quality. The items that they sell are designed to be quality items. That's why they cost so much money. You know, not saying like you have to buy designer clothes or anything to look good. Like, no. Just taking time into how you look and like buying items of quality of clothing, makeup, hair products that not only make you look your best, but make you feel your best. Because you're like, I put time into myself today. I put time into how I look today. People are going to notice that. People like to be surrounded by people that look attractive. People like to talk to people that look attractive and presentable. If you look like a slob, nobody's going to want to see you. Sorry, but it's the truth. Like, if you have to take care of yourself, and you're going to feel better anyways if you take care of yourself. It sounds so, you know, cliche and common, like, yeah, of course you have to look, but it's the truth. And so, you know, by taking time into how you look, into how you dress, to make yourself look presentable, this also kind of sets you apart because you're taking time into yourself. And by taking time into yourself physically and how you look, you have to take time into yourself in mentally a little bit, because the next point I wanted to get into is not settling for anything and learning how to do this. Don't settle for anything that you don't want and that's not the best for you. There will always be something better, or there will always be something that is perfect exactly for you. Don't settle for something that you don't want, because it's going to be a waste of your time anyway. It's literally going to be the biggest waste of your time. Wait and hunt for exactly what you want. You know, whether it's a certain job opportunity, of course, I mean, certain situations, like, you have to take what you can get. But really trying to avoid that and trying to make yourself in the best position so you can get exactly what you want. So working hard, having discipline, like taking the certain steps to get exactly what you want, because as soon as you get it, you're gonna feel way better about yourself and you're not gonna regret the decision of getting something that you settled for less for. So kind of a personal example of this is, you know, finding certain relationships and finding certain friends that like they're just not up to par with your values. They don't value you, they don't align with who you are, and at the end of the day, it's a huge fallout, it's a huge fight, and it's a huge problem that like you cause yourself because you settled for less at the beginning. You saw the red flags, you saw the type of person that they were, and you still brought yourself into that situation. By analyzing this and really taking yourself and establishing like, hey, maybe I'm not going to settle for this because this is bad for me, and listening to your intuition and realizing that will save you so much time and money. You know, don't settle for anything that it's just not worth it to you. You're going to regret it. You're going to end up throwing it away, whether it's, you know, products or just, you know, people that you surround yourself with. Don't settle for it. Wait until you have exactly what you want, even if it takes forever to wait. As long as you're working towards it and you're putting in the time and effort to obtain whatever that is, it will pay off. I promise you 100%, and you're gonna feel way better because it took time to get it. So now it has more value to you, you know? So as far as, you know, settling for relationships and settling for people, don't settle for connections that aren't of quality as well. So settling for connections that like, for certain people that don't align with your value, whether it's like a company you're going to work for or certain people you want to like work with, if they're not of quality and of value to you, just maybe don't make that connection, or maybe, you know, make that connection but don't really work with them, you know. And marketing example of this would be when certain brands do influencer collabs. Certain brands do a lot of brand trips, such as makeup brands, and they pick and choose certain influencers to go on the trip. Influencers that they choose have a niche with their target audience, and they have a perfect like the brand thinks of them as a perfect representation of their brand. They're not going to choose certain influencers that are problematic and that are going to cause them, you know, kind of the public to like hate them in a certain way if they choose certain people. So think of yourself as the same way. If you don't want to associate with people that, you know, don't align with your morals, don't align with your values, and are not of quality to you, don't make connections with them, you know? Don't work for a company that's gonna be not of quality and they have, you know, bad reviews and they're just not a great company and they're gonna go under soon. Don't make a connection with them. Don't, you know, don't settle for connections just because it's there. Don't sell yourself short, basically. There's, you know, a lot of influencers that people talk about that like sell themselves short and they take every single opportunity they can get, which is fine, understandable, but you don't want to be that person that like takes something and settles for something and then it bites you at the end, because why would you? It's going to waste you so much time and money. Just wait to get what you want and wait to make a certain connection and work hard, because once people see that like you value your connections and that you value the people around you, they're not going to take advantage of you, you know? So don't settle for people that are going to take advantage of you, aka settling for less. So that kind of ties into another point that I wanted to make that kind of brings it all together, is having boundaries and learning how to say no. I'm a victim of this because I always say yes sometimes. I've recently been learning how to say no, and it's a little bit hard because I don't like saying no. You know, I like being the nice person. I like giving people the benefit of the doubt. So whenever it comes to jobs, opportunities, or relationships, learning how to say no establishes boundaries, you know. Saying no establishes kind of a sense of trust within yourself as well. So this is gonna sound like cliche and like a little bit weird, but like, for example, it has been proved time and time again, and I have found proof of this, and I know people like this. People that say yes all the time do not get taken seriously and get taken advantage of so fast, and they're always taken advantage of all the time. Like, you know, those people that are like, oh, you're such a pushover. Like, oh, like they walk all over you. Don't let people walk all over you. Don't let people push you over. You know, having a sense of like boundaries and saying no have automatically clicks like to the other person. It clicks in their head and it's like, oh, like you actually said no. Like, okay, I can't take advantage of you. Not that their first instinct is to take advantage of you. Just like innately we feel like when something is yes all the time and it's instant satisfaction of like, yes, they're gonna do that, you're gonna do it. Like people just step all over you and they just go the extra mile and like ask for more and more of things that like you don't want to do or like you don't have time for. It's like they're doing too much. So having that sense of saying no and establishing boundaries just clicks with people around you of like, okay, no, they actually do value their time and they won't ask you for like useless stuff. This sounds so bad. But a professional example of this is certain job opportunities. If somebody, let's say you have a job offer and their salary is just a little bit too low for you, and you know your sense of worth and you know your education and experience deserves a higher salary than what they're offering, you can say no and you can negotiate. Never take a first offer when it comes to job opportunities. Not job opportunities, but you know, negotiating salary. Never take the first offer. You know, you're worth way more based on your background and your education and your experience, especially if you know you're worth way more. I mean, say no to the first offer and take the next one and negotiate it for yourself, because once you say no and you establish that sense of self, they're gonna see it too. They're gonna see your value. You're gonna say, okay, no, she's not settling for this. She's not saying yes automatically. You're not desperate. She's not gonna take immediately what she's offered. So obviously they see their value and like they're not gonna just say yes. So learn how to say no, because it's the best thing that you can do. Not like say no to everything, but just say no to things that you actually don't think are worth your time and are worth your value. Say no. So another point that I wanted to get to, and also like since saying no really establishes a trust within yourself, that's like, okay, I could do that, because I feel bad for saying no a lot of the time. I say yes just because I'm like, okay, like yes, I'll do it. But saying no really like establishes a sense of trust within yourself, and you build your sense of character. You have morals, you have respect for yourself, and you know your actions align with your values. So establishing a sense of character, like thinking for yourself, having your own morals and channeling these values through your passions and your pursuits, like your morals, and staying true to yourself is exactly what you want to achieve. You don't want to base your entire persona off trying to be somebody you're not, trying to be as perfect as you can be, because not everybody's perfect. But you know, having a sense of character and staying true to yourself with all of these characteristics and traits that you want to develop. This is not, trying to be like the most perfect person in the world. Of course, like staying true to yourself and making sure that your actions that you do take align with yourself. So basically, not being a hypocrite. When you say you're gonna do something, you do it. To yourself, of course. Like when you say something to yourself, you do it. And also not judging other people for what they do, especially if you do the same. So not being a hypocrite to yourself and to other people, like you really like establish a sense of value there. And the thing that you really do have to realize is that nobody is you, and that is your power. That's like a little bit of a quote that a lot of people know, but that's literally your power. Having your own unique sense of self will shine through, because the moment that you're fake and the moment that you're trying to be somebody you're not, people will see right through that. People have intuition. I have intuition. I can see right through somebody that's trying to be somebody they're not, and it just comes off a little bit shallow. Like you don't want to be with that person. They don't have like a true authentic sense of self. Trying to find your true authentic sense of self by doing things that you love, pursuing your passions, pursuing your careers, and as soon as you do that, it'll pay off in the end. Like the results really will show. A marketing example of this is how certain brands are unique because they have a niche to them. They have something that they stand for that not a lot of people do. They have certain things about their brand that makes them stand out and makes people love them, makes people want to buy their product, buy their service. It's a certain niche. So finding that niche within yourself and just rolling with it, stop don't try and be like anybody else. Don't try and be like a blueprint of somebody else. Like, be your own blueprint, and people will love you. People love people that are real, because as humans, we see that. We see right through fake. We see right through the BS, and we know a real person when we see them. So doing all of these tactics, and also, you know, building yourself up to have a certain character, and building yourself up of having like a lot of value and self-worth, establishes a sense of worthiness and a sense of value that you can offer. Because as a person and as a human, you do have a lot to offer. You do have a lot to give. And, you know, really working hard on like trying to become your best self and establish yourself as a personal brand that's extremely valuable, and you have such education, such credibility, and just this way about you, like it'll shine through immediately. And so, you know, when I put this whole entire list together and I really wanted to talk about this for this first episode, I realized, you know, it's a lot of work to try and be the best that you can be, because in life there's so many struggles and there's so many things that really hold us back. For example, me making this podcast, before, it was a thought in my head, I'm like, I really should do a podcast. I think I would have a lot of fun doing it, but I was always that little bit of fear of, oh my gosh, who's gonna watch it? Or am I just gonna sound stupid on my podcast? Or am I just... And it was so much self-doubt and so much self-hatred and so much of me not thinking that I can actually do it that was holding me back. So as soon as I started to develop a little bit of self-worth, I sound like I was like in the trenches before. I wasn't. I had a sense of self-worth and self-value, but I just didn't bring myself to... It takes a lot to be on camera and film yourself and talk to a camera for like 30 minutes. Like, you get nervous. Not a lot of people can do it. But I really wanted to do it, and it's like, as marketing as one of my main passion, actually, I feel like I have a lot to talk about and a lot to show you guys. So it was hard, you know, but it's worth it. And that's why this podcast is called Just Post It, because don't think twice about wanting to be and wanting to show your authentic self. Don't think twice about it. At the end of the day, people don't really care that much, and they're not going to really think that much of you as you think about yourself. People, if anything, they'll see the greatness in you, or like they'll hate you. But the people that usually hate you and that have like a lot of negative things to say about you, it's not really about you, it's about them, like kind of portraying their hatred for themselves onto you. It's a whole entire other concept. Like, they're just like projecting their negative thoughts about themselves onto somebody else just because they don't want to self-blame. They just rather blame it on other people. It's a whole entire thing. Maybe that'll be another podcast. But yeah, I'm very excited to share this, and I'm really happy with this episode and how it's gonna turn out. And I'm very excited to start this. In future episodes, I'm gonna have some of my friends on, and just some people that I work with. And I'm very excited for that, because they are also, some are in the marketing world, some are not, they're in other, you know, career fields, but I'm very excited about it. And I hope you guys liked this first episode. Hopefully it helped a little bit. Hopefully, you know, you got some knowledge there. Hopefully you have this is so funny. Hopefully you have some knowledge there. And I hope that you enjoyed this, and yeah, I will see you on the next episode. And I'm very, very excited. For the next episode, there's gonna be a guest, so stay tuned for that. And I want to get little mics, because I feel weird just talking. I mean, the microphone on my camera is amazing, but I just want to get like a little mic so I can like feel like a podcaster, you know. We all gotta start somewhere, and I'm very excited to start. This is where the discipline aspect comes in. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye.